Any kind of spare cash going around, then send it Sarah's way. There's a house. I would also like to thank Sarah for organising my hen do with military precision. A mammoth feat, I'm sure, trying to get a dozen of women to agree on a budget and the venue, and also for finding me a replacement hair and makeup lady at the last minute. She's a great friend and an incredible organiser. And of course, a big thank you to all the hens as well. It meant so much to me that you all made it and all managed to keep the location a secret for what seemed like forever. While we're on the subject of hen parties, I'd like to thank my mum for organising my second hen weekend of luxury and pampering. I'd like to thank Emily and Bryony for organising my third hen party at Vinopolis. And Charlene and Helen for my fourth and final hen party, where we took full advantage of happy hour in Camden, and thus setting the world record for a large number of hen parties, and thus sending my liver into oblivion. Finally, I would especially like to thank my brother for coming today, who's unfortunately left now. His wife, as my dad told you, gave birth to a beautiful baby girl on Thursday, and it was touch and go whether he would come, but we were really chuffed that he could make it. Lastly, I want to thank this guy for turning up today and looking so incredibly handsome. To many, he's King Dave, Davis Tear, Big Dave, Frank the Tank. But to me, he is and always has been simply David, a generous, intelligent, honest and sincere man. In you, I really have met my match. I want to thank you for so many things. For reading me excerpts from science fiction books and graphic novels in bed while I pretend to listen. For real ale, cheese, tea, Lord of the Rings, Battlestar Galactica, Guitar Hero, road bikes, and weekend London walks. It sounds disgusting, but it's actually good for you. For clicking my toes, try it, don't knock it. For always having a handkerchief in your pocket. For never being too busy for a cuddle. For worrying needlessly that I'll break my teeth or my bones if I'm not by your side. For a multitude of ridiculous pet names, none of which I'm going to repeat here today. For weathering the long distance put between us during my time at university. For not only accepting me despite being insensitive, impulsive and domineering, but for helping me to become a better human being in spite of those traits. David, my love for you evolves every day, yet never falters. It makes me soar, it keeps me completely grounded. It is right here on the third finger of my left hand, in my heart and in our friendship every single day. I want to share my life with you until we're old and forgetful and beyond. You are so genuine and so wise. I love you infinitely, you make my heart swell. So I guess it's customary to propose a toast. And if I'm going to toast anything, it's something that I've had in abundance with David, and it's life's only true vocation. So if you raise your glasses, please, to happiness.
You hear me now? Yeah! Right, Dave was my best man 6 years ago, so fortunately I've copied his speech. Right. Dave was born on the 17th of April 1979, 12:34 PM.
Sort of.
Sue wasn't sure if it was AM or PM. Don't know how you get 12 hours out, to be honest. And at the start of his life, he was very unhappy. In fact, this malaise lasted for 44 days, 4 hours and 26 minutes. When at 1700 hours, on the 30th of the 9th, 1979, a saviour was born. And all was well with little David. After this almost biblical event, a friendship was born that lasted for the last 30 years. For those of you who haven't twigged, I was born on the 30th of May, 1979. Dave and I have a lot in common. We had to contend with our parents being close friends, taking us on camping holidays together, and both of them were sisters, which is enough to blight any young boy's life. And from this we formed a common bond of us against the world. As I said, we had a lot in common, but we also had a lot of differences. I was the sporty one, and Leslie Dave was musical. I would not know a crotchet from a quaver, although the latter probably tastes better. That's my best joke. Point it out, it's going badly. Right, where was I? We were in different years at school, and then later Dave went to university. I went into the army. So though we have friends in common, we also have separate groups of friends. Maybe it's our individuals going to secret to our long friendship. When we were children, our families went on camping holidays together. These are given fond memories, and some that we'd rather forget. There was winter training in Chichester, where we spent the entire time invisible. I would love to show you how to do this, but you wouldn't see me anyway. Private shines outside. Most memorable of the holidays lived in Norfolk, where we stayed on some overgrown land, and us being teenagers went exploring. On this intrepid adventure, we discovered a derelict caravan, and it became obvious they needed remodelling. So big sticks in hand, we entered the caravan and with great gusto set about the task. Unbeknown to us, there was a wasp nest in one of the cupboards. Needless to say, the wasp did not like us remodelling and set about stinging us. Fortunately for Dave, I entered the caravan first and bravely covered his retreat, taking the brunt of the assault, even taking a sting in a very sensitive place. Your sister, you don't count. No heckling to the ground, please. I think it's worth mentioning one of the clubs we were sent to by our parents. Sequence ballroom dancing. It's true. Now this lasted for about 2 years and consisted of 5 people, who apart from us were old ladies. Shut up. To our delight, this ended. But to our shame, it ended by Dave's dance partner dying. It was probably nice. As we were getting to our teenage years, I took my role of best friend very seriously, and on many occasions turned up at 7 in the morning to help Dave and his family wake up. It's clear they couldn't manage this on their own. After the school years were over, David tried in vain to get away from being woken up at 7 in the morning by going to university in Greenwich, studying something, not really sure what. But still, I would turn up at the weekend to make sure he was awake. They said everyone has a mate called Dave. Yes. In my case, that's certainly true. When I think back over our childhood, it's not so much individual events that I remember, but how great it was to have David around, to play with and to share life's trials and tribulations with. I think